Welcome to the dark underbelly of Gotham. As tensions rise, Absolute Batman grapples with his greatest nemesis yet, Bane, the shadowy halls of Arkham that hold secrets that could shatter Gotham's fragile peace. With his allies in peril and the city spiraling into chaos, can Batman save Waylon Jones from the clutches of madness? In a heart-stopping showdown, the stakes couldn't be higher. Bane's monstrous transformation threatens everything Batman holds dear. Don't miss the brutal clashes, shocking alliances, and the origin of a villain that will redefine fear in Gotham. In this video, we present the complete saga Abomination, where Absolute Batman faces off against Absolute Bane in an epic battle. Get ready for an electrifying journey through the dark twists of the Absolute Batman universe.
Will Batman be broken by Bane? The fate of Gotham hangs in the balance, and you won't want to miss a single detail.
Part 1. Entering Arc M. The comic kicks off in the fictional country of Bialya, where two leaders from Korak and Kondak meet to end a long war between their countries. They shake hands, but just as they're about to leave, they notice a pool of blood coming from the door. When they open it, Bane appears, and he's massive. The villain apologizes for interrupting the meeting, but says he's here to make sure the peace treaty isn't signed. He offers one of the leaders a chance to leave alive if they turn over the other. The leader from Korak doesn't accept the deal, but the one from Kondak does. Bane then simply grabs the one who refused the deal and crushes his head like it's nothing. Next, he forces Omar, the surviving leader, to give a speech that will inflame tensions between the two countries, and that's exactly Bane's mission. To ensure the war continues, the people believe in Omar's abilities, and after finishing the threat and answering a phone call, Bane is given a new mission, this time in Gotham. So begins the saga titled Abomination, with a beautiful illustration of a giant, bizarre Bane. In Gotham City, Alfred narrates that Batman should lay low, but upon returning to the city, he finds a completely possessed bat because his friend Waylon Jones is missing, having been kidnapped in the previous saga, which you can check out by clicking the video that's popping up on your screen right now. Batman tries to get a lead. The bat has declared war on the underworld. Alfred tried to warn him to stop, but he knows his advice is useless. None of the thugs are spared. The night before, Batman beat up so many goons that the hospital ran out of ambulances. The police's temporary solution was to use abs to get around the lack of vehicles, until they also ran out of those cars and had to resort to a rickshaw. And pay attention to this detail. The ID badge of the guy taking the bad guys to the hospital belongs to Dick Grayson.
Yup folks, this is Dick Grayson's first appearance in this Absolute universe. Here we can see that Batman is really determined to find his friend. We see Officer Barbara Gordon chatting with her father until she gets called into her office. Barbara thinks it's strange because no one should be in her apartment. She braces herself for the worst, but it's actually Batman speaking to her through that mask she got during the Black Mask saga. By the way, if you haven't checked it out, we have a full video on that saga. Just click the video that's popping up on your screen to get updated on Absolute Batman. Batman asks for the officer's help and sets up a meeting at the abandoned zoo in the city, exactly at that big spotlight he used in the Black Mask saga. So we have the classic meetup of Batman and Gordon, but this time with Barbara next to the bat signal instead of her dad. Barbara has the documents Batman requested. The bat appears, asking where Waylon Jones is. The officer wants to understand the reason, and Batman says he's one of his friends. But that's not enough for Barbara. She wants to know why. The hero doesn't say anything more, and the officer claims that apparently it was the police who took Waylon Jones. Batman then looks at the paperwork. Next, away from there, we see Bruce gathering with his allies. Oz is shocked to learn that Waylon was taken to Arkham, and Batman says the paperwork doesn't make sense as Waylon didn't break curfew. To make matters worse, the paperwork also states that the Gotham City government claimed Waylon Jones' gym. Alfred, who's also there, comments that this isn't a good sign. Oz says he's not a big fan of Alfred's presence, but Bruce reassures him that he's an ally. Alfred explains that these arcs do terrible things inside. There are 13 in the world, and the latest is this one in Gotham. Bruce says they need to get Waylon out of there no matter the cost. Oz doesn't understand how Arkham could be ready so quickly. But Harvey reveals that it's not quite like that, because on the same island, in the 19th century, there was a psychiatric hospital that caught fire in the 30s. Plus, a company called JK bought the land back then. Yeah, JK is the Absolute Joker's company. Since then, the company has been conducting experiments there. So Arkham and Gotham began much earlier than everyone imagined. Looking at the blueprints Harvey brought, Batman thinks of a plan to break in again. Oz thinks it's crazy, but Bruce gets mad. Everyone wanted to help and now they're complaining about helping? Oz apologizes, he didn't mean to undermine the plan, just thinks it's a wild idea, but he'll go along with it.
Meanwhile, Martha and James Gordon are watching a news report saying the curfew will continue. Martha wants Gordon to take action. He's the only one who can stop the madness in Gotham, but Gordon says they lost the election and there's not much they can do now. Bruce's mom doesn't want to give up. This isn't the Gotham she grew up in. Gordon is convinced it's over, but that doesn't mean it's finished for Martha. She wants to know what Wayne will do now. Immediately, Martha says she won't run for mayor, but the statement hangs in the air. What does she really want to do now? Next, we have another flashback. Bruce and Selina, now adults, enjoying life on a bed full of cash. Someone knocks on the door. It's Waylon Jones with great news. He's landed a big fight. Bruce is thrilled, while Selina, confused, asks what it's about, and it's explained that it's a championship fight against Bibowski, referencing a character from Superman's comics. Waylon needs to train for the fight and reveals that Bruce himself will be training him. The young man is surprised, but ultimately decides to accept the training. When Waylon finally sees the money on the bed, he's very confused. The comic then returns to the present, for now, leaving that part aside. Batman prepares to invade Arkham. Alfred wishes the young man good luck, to which he responds with thanks. The hero starts to infiltrate the prison through the water. Alfred narrates that Batman moves very fast, and in less than an hour, he's entered the cave, following Pennyworth's directions. Bruce knows exactly where he needs to go. For a second, he even entertains the thought that it'll be easy, until Batman says he's going in ahead of schedule, and that wasn't in the plans. Bruce sees something, the real Arkham, inside the cave, and it's a prison almost the size of a city. Immediately, the hero begins to sneak in. In narration, Alfred expresses his regret because he knows exactly what to expect from Arkham. The truth is, he withheld some information from Bruce. Arkham is connected to terrible things. Alfred says he knows how Batman feels, knows what it's like to lose a brother in arms, and we see a mysterious photo suggesting they took different paths, with Alfred's friend becoming an enemy. Batman continues his investigation. Alfred comments that the hero has crossed a line. This is no longer a war against crime, it's a war without rules. Batman tries to call out for Pennyworth, who no longer responds. He passes by a computer with data on Bane, and then finds a skeleton of what seems to be a human bat. Alfred remains silent, only commenting that Bruce is alone, which technically isn't true. Bane shows up next to Batman and simply says, "Hello." The villain delivers a kick that sends Batman reeling. The hero tries to defend himself. He uses his wings to trap the villain, who remains still, waiting for the blows. When getting close, the bat strikes with a series of Muay Thai punches, something Bane recognizes. Batman tries to use everything he has, but it looks like Bane responds to the punches in slow motion. He defends himself with his fingers and then lands another punch. It's true humiliation for the hero, and this humiliation has only just begun. Batman says he just needs to hit the monster select to take him down, but that's when Bane reveals he hasn't taken any drugs. Instead, we see a liquid being pumped directly into his body. Bane starts to grow non-stop. The hero's reaction says a lot about what he's witnessing. The villain questions who the hero is, introduces himself as Bane, and says it's time to prepare him for surgery. And the first part of the saga of Absolute Batman ends with this massive Bane holding Batman by the neck with just one hand. Dude, Bane's size makes Batman look small, and we're talking about Absolute Batman, who's already big.
Part 2. Surviving Arc M. The story picks up in June, with Martha worried about her son's disappearance. Gordon tries to calm her down, saying Bruce has only been missing for a few days. Meanwhile, at Arkham, a doctor writes an observation report. Bruce is sedated and stripped of his uniform. Numerous items have been confiscated. The doctor hopes he'll sleep for another 48 hours. But as soon as the report is finished, Bruce wakes up ready to escape. He stands up and pulls a pin from his teeth to use to unlock the door. Entering a dark room, the door he broke into closes. Left with little choice, Bruce begins to investigate the place naked. He passes something very big and reaches a section called Healthfern, which references Carl Halford, more commonly known as Dr. Death, who was actually the first villain Batman faced in the comics. This is when the Doctor initiates another record, following Bruce in Arkham. Batman finally arrives at the section called Clay, possibly an Easter egg hinting at the presence of a clay phase in the Absolute Universe. Bruce steps on something strange and someone complains it hurts, and we see a clay figure or several hands trying to wrap around Bruce. At that moment, Bane appears and delivers a punch that knocks Bruce out, merely telling him to keep trying to escape. From here, the story jumps to another flashback. Bruce trains Waylon for the fight. At home, they analyze the opponent on TV. Bibowski will be a merciless foe, so Bruce's training is intense. More running, more drilling, and loads of dedication. The friends see no weakness in the opponent, but Waylon is determined to not give up. Back to the present, a month has passed and there's still no sign of Bruce. Martha continues despairing for news, consoled by Harvey Dent. Their friends know something, but they chose not to tell for fear of exposing Bruce's identity as Batman. Meanwhile, our hero is thrown into a cell. The Doctor continues observing. Bruce has been there for 45 days, and since the 20th, he hasn't made an escape attempt. He seems completely submissive. Irony is the moment the Doctor makes the diagnosis, Bruce rises and strikes the medical team that entered his cell. The Doctor resumes her diagnostics, admitting she was hasty. There's also a reference to patient 27, which honors Batman's first appearance in the comics, which occurred in Detective Comics number 27.
Bruce rips out his own teeth and uses them between his fingers to make his punches more devastating. One of the doctors asks for calm, but Bruce ignores him and even uses a tube that was in his stomach to expel stomach fluid at the Mad, even throwing one of them into the toilet. The detective tries to escape again and goes through that prior experience. Now we see that the eggs have hatched. Bruce runs until he's exhausted, tells whoever's listening to go to hell, and continues to the edge of the facility. Using that controlled explosion to propel himself, he scales the wall and after much effort arrives on the second floor where he finds a sort of ecosystem, a strange forest with trees with ice and vines that wrap around to immobilize. The Doctor, still observing, states he's in the icy ecosystem, a clear reference to Poison Ivy from the Absolute Universe. A creature appears claiming the green wants out. It spits out tentacles that hit Bruce in the mouth. At that moment, once again, Bane appears and prevents Bruce from dying, but he's there to capture him and land more punches. We return to another flashback. Selina Kyle wakes Bruce saying it's time to go, inviting him to a big heist, but Bruce declines. Today he needs to study Waylon's opponent. Selina says that sooner or later Bruce will have to tell Waylon that he doesn't stand a chance against Bibowski. But Bruce refuses, telling him would crush him, so Selina suggests that he give him the heads up after the heist. In the present, another month goes by, now it's August and Bruce is still missing. Martha isn't giving up and puts up posters around the city. At Arc M, Bruce is acting different due to the experiences and substances that continue to be injected into his blood. The Doctor says his body is ready for the transformation, but it can't happen if his spirit isn't broken. The doctors believe patient 27 is already broken, and Bane suggests another escape attempt. They then throw Batman's suit at Bruce. At first, he asks to be left alone, but upon seeing the suit, he knows he must try again. Something calls him, and he puts on the suit in an attempt to escape. Bruce goes through another gigantic experience and reaches the Langstrom wing, which, for those who don't know, is a reference to Kirk Langstrom, the Man-Bat. Batman then encounters several monstrous creatures asking for help. In another flashback, we see Bruce responding to Waylon's question about his chances against Bibowski. While in the present, Batman admits he doesn't know how to help those creatures, just like in the past he didn't know how to help his friend. The creatures beg him to make the pain stop, but before he can act, Bane arrives and strikes him hard. This time, Bane is bigger, already using the venom substance, and claims he and Batman are the same, just trying to deal with pain. He pulls more substance and grows even larger.
Batman is thrown, crashes through the glass of an experiment with a giant egg, and Bane states that the most important thing in a war isn't being the strongest or the smartest, but rather who's best at adapting. But before he can finish, a giant crocodile jumps on him. The creature escaped from the cell that Batman broke by accident and manages to hit Bane, who falls unconscious. The doctors try to intervene, but the creature devours two of them in one go. Batman recognizes the creature. It's Wayland, who has now become Killer Croc.
The look of Killer Croc is awesome, being a very brutal and bizarre version. Batman tells his friend that it's Bruce, and the Croc recognizes him by smell. In another flashback, we see Bruce confirming his trust in Wayland and that it's time to keep training. In the present, in a very badass scene, Batman is riding on Killer Croc. Bane recovers and finishes his sentence with an alt quote, but is long confronted by Batman, who flees with Killer Croc into the sewers. The doctor watches and comments that patient 27 continues to surprise. She asks Bane if he's ready for the final phase. He calls her Dr. Arkham and answers yes. This will be the phase where he finally intends to break Batman.
Part 3: The Origin of Bane. In narration, Alfred laments not having told Bruce about Bane before. He swears he tried to warn him when they were in the Batmobile, but he couldn't even name that abominable being. The truth is, he was scared, and now that Bane is in Gotham hunting Batman, Alfred regrets it.
He says he should have told the story of Bane and how Bane will break Batman.
As Alfred narrates, we see Bane arriving at Gotham docks searching for Batman. Before the hunt, Alfred recounts Bane's origin. He was born in Santa Prisca. An explosion occurs on the islands and a newborn is carried away by a rebel soldier. Santa Prisca is a paradise of minerals, which is why foreign governments continuously invade the country to control those resources and local politics. A rebel group known as Cielos Libres fight for Santa Prisca's freedom, whose leader is the baby's father. And you can already tell that the kid painted a different color in the panel is Bane himself. The fight for freedom goes on for years, and slowly the boy grows up. The boy's father shares his dream to see Santa Prisca free, like a bird in the sky, the Gesell, the bird on the country's flag. The boy admires his country and follows in his father's footsteps, but things are tough as the rebellion soldiers die one by one. At one point, the young boy eats some hallucinogenic seeds to get a vision of his father's dream, but instead of peace, he sees a skeleton-shaped bird. Years pass and the boy becomes one of the leaders of the rebellion, creating plans and leading actions. In a raid, they capture the capital, but on the fourth day, they're captured by foreign troops. The survivors are sent to a prison called Peñaduro. Another 2 years pass. The boy's father, also imprisoned, keeps optimistic and repeats that peace will come and they'll never be broken. The prison conditions are terrible. The cell floods with the rising tide every night, and the boy learns to survive by clinging to the bars at the top. His food consists of rats, but despite all of it, his father still speaks of the Quetzal flying free. Decades go by. The boy recalls the dream of the Skullbird, and we cut back to show what's happening in Gotham now. After their curfew, soldiers patrol the deserted streets. They hear something coming from an alley. It's Bane himself. When the guards notice, it's already too late. Bane kills them all and sets off hunting for Batman. Back to the Bane flashback, 11 years in prison has transformed the boy into a man and a leader. He and the group execute a successful escape plan. Rumors say a new and worse army has taken over Santa Prisca, trumped by rare elements discovered on the island. On the escape, heading toward the sea, the father gives Bane a mask made from the flag, telling him that the sun is the bird, the vision of peace, and the day has come. The son accepts and puts on the mask with the drawing of the skeletal bird. The rebels reach the beach and find the man in a white suit calling Bane by his real name, a name that the story does not reveal. This man in white offers Bane a deal. The father watches from afar, puzzled by how the man makes jokes without laughing. When the father is about to interfere, Bane ends the conversation, and the man in white leaves on a helicopter. The father breathes a sigh of relief, embraces his son. Then suddenly, Bane crushes him, breaking his spine.
This is a story of Absolute Bane, though told from Alfred's perspective. In the following years, Bane acted brutally on various occasions, destroying a diplomatic plane, murdering a journalist in Dubai, and even slaughtering pirates in the Wet Sea. After that, he underwent an experiment, and that's when Bane emerged. Secret information suggests that a venom runs in his veins, a mix of acid, proteins, and cytokines, giving him total control of his muscles and drastically increasing his intelligence. All the knowledge of war, weapons, and battles seems to be in his mind. Alfred explains that now Bane is after Bruce.
Back to the present, Bane stands at the door of a warehouse calling for Batman, who appears next. The two lock eyes, and the battle begins. Alfred comments that Bane will prepare a strategy, and Bruce will too. Batman's plan is to lure Bane into a trap, distracting him until he realizes he's in the blast radius of a bomb that will go off. But Alfred believes that won't be enough. Bane will still pursue Bruce. In the fight, Bane lands a punch on Batman and puts him on the ground, and Alfred knows Bruce won't give in easily. However, Bane seems to know every possible strategy. Using Batman's own axe, he rips off the hero's right arm. Bane has become the Bird of Vision, but not the peaceful vision of the father. It's the vision of Bane, the skeletal bird, the phoenix rising from the ashes. During the clash, Bane cuts off both of Batman's arms. He is the great disciple of war, who sees peace as death and war as life. That's what he learned. Bruce is left practically finished, and Bane attacks hard, disfiguring the hero's face with several blows. Alfred, in despair, questions what Bruce sees, because this isn't a bat, never was. There are even more revelations to come. Alfred begins to reflect on what the man in white might have promised Bane to make him kill his own father and change so much. Alfred confirms that this man is someone he's been looking for years, a man who doesn't laugh, made of many stories, and in one of them appears a child dressed as a clown in Gotham's alleys. It's clear that the man in white is the Joker of this absolute universe, or at least that's what Alfred suspects. While Alfred is deep in thought, we see Bane taking Bruce to Arkham for a procedure with Dr. Arkham. Alfred suspects that the man in white made a deal with Bane. In exchange for protecting Santa Prisca and ensuring a semblance of peace, Bane would agree to become a mercenary for the man in white. Bruce undergoes the same procedure as other warriors suffered. The venom that could either kill him or subjugate him. That's Bane's job, to transform warriors into soldiers in service of the man in white. Alfred remembers that this was done to others in the world, in Russia with someone named Cagey Beast, in the Middle East with Deathstroke. Whose equivalent in this universe is someone Alfred knew well. The surgery places new arms on Bruce and a metal mask. Bane believes Bruce can survive, and thus have the second chance, the same offer Bane received, to protect Gotham. From time to time, Bane returns to Santa Prisca to see his family. The island is indeed at peace, and the family is grateful, although they don't know exactly what he's done to achieve it. This is the story that Alfred wanted to tell Bruce, because the Man in White's plan is to transform Bruce into what Gotham needs. However, all of this last fight against Bane and Batman's transformation was a hypothesis from Alfred. He imagines what could happen if Bane broke Batman. Alfred knows the hero isn't so easily shattered, and Bane knows that too. That's why Bane has an alternative plan to break Bruce, to hit not just the hero, but his friends. That's what's truly at stake in the warehouse. Part 4. The Origin of Batman's Villains. Batman is dragging himself through Gotham's sewers. The hero is exhausted and thanks his friend, Waylon Jones, Killer Croc. However, it's at this moment that Waylon tells Batman that he's the one who needs to be saved. Bruce thinks his friend is referring to a cure for his monstrous appearance, but Croc clarifies that it's nothing like that. He was talking about his uncontrollable tunger, which, by the way, hurts and advances toward Batman. The Croc wants Batman to kill him to end his suffering. Bruce then grabs one of his Batarings and tries to attack Croc, but can't bring himself to hurt his friend. After all, Batman would never, under any circumstances, kill his best friend. Then, Croc grabs Batman's hand and states he intends to settle the score with the weapon. Even so, Bruce manages to dodge the blow with a nice kick to his friend's face. Croc lets out an enraged roar and comments that he shouldn't have pulled the bat out of Arkham. Thus, the monster dives and disappears into the sewage waters while Bruce screams that they could solve this problem together. Next, the story then shows us another flashback where we see Bruce and Selina as a couple just finishing buying a new apartment. During the conversation, Selina notices something's wrong with the hero, and Bruce comments that he doesn't know what to do about Waylon Jones. All of this is caused by that fight Waylon set up with a guy who seems impossible to beat. Selina asked if Bruce told him the truth, while Bruce says Waylon won't listen to him, thinking he can win on his own. Selina ends by saying Bruce should help him to win, even if that means breaking some rules. After all, that's how they managed to buy that apartment. We return to the present, where Bruce wakes up in his hideout next to Alfred. The agent found him unconscious and reveals that Bruce was out cold for 20 days, and even then, the hero would need more time to fully recover. Alfred observes that there's a system installed on the Bat's body connected to the Venom compound, which makes it impossible to predict the long-term repercussions. At that moment, Bruce interrupts him, stating he's fine. Alfred warns that things have changed since the last time he was in Gotham, but Wayne is determined to get out of there as quickly as possible. As he walks through the city streets, Bruce suffers from the side effects of the venom in his blood and notices one of the posters left by Martha Wayne. Because of that, the first person Bruce visits is his mom. Upon arriving, it's clear that Martha is very shaken by her son's disappearance, having gone all this time without news of him. Her first reaction is to slap Bruce, filled with anger for taking so long to return home. Then to embrace as Bruce apologizes. Martha starts to cry, saying she was anxious with every call she got, especially after what happened to Oswald. This catches Bruce's attention since he didn't know anything about it. He quickly heads to the hospital where his friend is and meets up with former Commissioner Gordon. Bruce only has a few minutes for a visit, and Leslie warns that it won't be a pleasant sight. Leslie comments that she's never seen anything like it in her career.
Then we see what Bane did to poor Oswald, and it's genuinely shocking. Bane practically broke all of Oz's bones, but the worst part is that it wasn't just Oz who suffered at Bane's hands.
In the first second, Bane analyzed the Penguin's concern about being stronger and did something to fix that. He gave Oz an absolutely merciless beating, avoiding hitting vital organs on purpose. Leslie states it was the surgical precision. If Oswald survives, he'll have a life of constant pain, losing height and function in his hands and feet. Leslie can barely finish the sentence when Bruce innocently asks if Harvey came to visit his friend, and Leslie simply replies that Harvey is in the next room. At this point in the story, it's clear that Bane not only won after Oswald, but broke all of Bruce's friends so as to break Batman. Next we see Harvey state, who suffered 3rd and 4th degree burns of the left side of his face, and in addition to that, Bane broke his skull too. When Bruce arrived, Harvick managed to speak a little bit. He mentioned an experienced cop named Flass, who always seemed to know what the guys were planning, remembering that Flass is one of Gotham's corrupt cops. Meanwhile, in the flashback of Bane's attack on Bruce's friends, we see the villain smashing a liquor bottle across Harvey's face with absurd violence. At this moment, the story split between showing the present while simultaneously flashing back to what happened to Harvey. In the present, Harvey compares Bane to Officer Flass, especially in as a student is for completely deciphering people. Flass used to say that if Harvey kept hanging out with those delinquent friends, he'd end up becoming one too. Harvey finally admits that Flass was right. Bane picks up a poker chip and lights a match to throw it onto the spilled alcohol from the broken bottle. While burning Harvey on the floor, Bane played a mental game, repeating the same things that Flass had said. In this panel, we can see all the pain that Harvey felt.
Notice this detail. It indicates that in this Absolute universe, this Two-Face will use that poker chip a lot.
Harvey observes that Flash retired and moved to a city far from Gotham. Bruce states that all of this is his fault, and Harvey agrees, commenting that Batman put all his chips against Bane and lost. Thus, he now hates Bruce, but not all the time, just half the time.
However, the massacre by Bane is still not over. We need to find out what happened to Edward Enigma, and that's exactly what's shown next. Bruce rushes to Ed's hideout, already expecting the worst. When he arrives, Eddie seems fine, sitting at his computer. His friend reveals that Bane didn't physically hurt him, but challenged him to a battle of intellect. Bane handed Ed a gun and made a deal that if Ed outsmarted him, he could kill him. The game Bane wanted to play was one of challenges and riddles. In the present, Bruce approaches Eddie and we can tell something's wrong with his head. It turns out Ed lost that mental battle, taking just a minute for Bane to defeat him. After that, the villain crushed his skull and shook his brain. Edward comments that facts turn into questions and begin appearing everywhere. The look of Enigma's face is finally revealed, with part of his brain exposed. He says Bane actually helped him, challenging him to become someone better. Bruce mentions that he needs to go to the hospital, but suddenly the venom in his blood begins to take effect. It's important to note that it seems Bane is also challenging Batman. Ed then gives a riddle, which isn't exactly a riddle, about what Bruce will do next.
Next, we continue that flashback of Batman with Selina Kyle. They broke into a golf session of Falcone, wanting to help Wayland and offer a sort of deal in the fight. The mobster quickly realizes it's a cowardly deal and recognizes Bruce as Wayland's trainer. All of Falcone's goons start laughing at him and Wayland as if they were weak for wanting to make that deal. Then Bruce states that the money in the bag is meant as a gesture. He reveals that all that cash was stolen from Falcone's own buildings. This shocks Falcone, who is speechless with Bruce's proposal, as he's not there to make money, but to increase their chances. It seems Bruce is making some kind of leverage with Falcone, but the idea wasn't very clear. Back in the present, Bruce, now dressed as Batman, warns the Red Hood gang that they shouldn't get involved in anything in Gotham. Alfred finds this behavior strange, and the hero recalls that the Black Mask offered, which he didn't even consider acknowledging back then. Batman asserts that he didn't foresee the consequences of that. Alfred asks Bruce if he intends to stop being Batman and retire. The Bat punches the ground and yells that Bane broke his friends. Alfred confirms that he did. The right question is whether Batman will let Bane break him. Alfred also states that Batman chose this path, and so everything changed in Gotham. There's no turning back now. Alfred urges him to prepare, as things are only going to get worse.
At that moment, the alarm goes off, and Bruce interrupts the conversation, alerting that someone has invaded the place and the two get ready. Alfred believes it's Bane himself, and since Bane loves to fight, the two prepare to fight with everything they have. In this panel, we see the two preparing for the confrontation.
The two begin to search for Bane's signal around the base. Alfred yells, asking where he is, when something that looks like a rope descends through a pillar and pulls Alfred hard. The blows are dealt to Alfred quickly. Then, this mysterious person drops Alfred, and Batman seems to recognize who's there. It's Catwoman in her outfit. She just says hi to Bruce, making it clear she knows his identity.
Part 5. The Bat and the Cat.
In the past, Bruce and Selina are coming back to Gotham. This happens after the event we saw earlier, when the couple made a deal with the mobster Falcone so that Waylon Jones could win the fight. Selina comments that she was impressed by Bruce's decision, saying that that's how friends like Waylon can also win. And then they finally kiss. If you're feeling lost with what's going on, click on the card that's popping up on your screen now to catch up on everything that happened before. It's all in that video. Now, in the present, Bruce Wayne faces Selina Kyle, who is back after months of being missing. Batman asks her why she showed up. Selina tries to break the ice, saying that their ears match that it was his mom who called her. Bruce doesn't buy what Catwoman is saying, and Selina quickly admits she showed up because she was worried since he's been missing for months. Bruce, still cold and distant, responds that he doesn't need help.
Still, Selina shows that she just wants to help him and mentions that he even has a team now, referring of course to Alfred, who was on the ground after being knocked out by her. Alfred warns Bruce, saying that Catwoman can't be trusted, which makes her strike him again with her whip. Selina wants to know what Batman is going to do. Bruce ignores the agent, looks at Selina, and tells the agent that she's leaving. Shortly after, we see the two in Bruce's hideout, taking off their suits and having that, well, you know what I mean. Looks like Bruce missed Selina a lot, as they end up spending the whole night together. It's basically a whole page of that. The next morning, Bruce wakes up at sunrise, and Selina notices the bat-shaped veins prominently showing on Bruce's back because of the venom. The cat asks what they did to him, but Bruce avoids the topic, and she confirms that she really doesn't want to talk about it. Then Bruce points to her mask, noticing the design looks like Black Mask's gear. And in that moment, Selina says exactly what Bruce said before. Neither of them wants to talk about it. After that, Batman asks if she wants to go out on a date. The next page is a huge reference to that iconic page, the Dark Knight Returns comic. Next, we see that this date Bruce is talking about isn't normal. He's referring to a date with other intentions. They arrive at the old pier of the city, but now it's territory of the Red Hood gang, the outlaw gang we know makes deals with Batman. The couple is quickly surrounded by armed members of the gang who are really in the mood to chat with the Bat. Batman demands to talk only to their leader, but the group doesn't allow it and soon starts attacking the two. Catwoman smirks, saying she's liking the date, and then opens fire with her machine gun, taking out several gang members. Batman is shocked, claiming they're just kids, but the cat reassures him, saying she used tranquilizer bullets. High up on the Ferris wheel, another gang member prepares a rocket launcher, and Batman catches on, moving Selina out of the way. Before the member can shoot, Batman simply crashes part of the Ferris wheel structure just by using his body, causing it to collapse. The gang member misses the shot and ends up falling into the water. Selina watches in shock, seeing the green veins on Batman's body. She asks if Bruce is okay, but he tells her to back off. And at that moment, we see Batman manage to activate the venom in his body, giving him enough strength to take down the Ferris wheel. Quickly, the couple is surrounded again. Soon, the gang members start talking among themselves that Batman has become one of the villains. Selina tries to calm him down, telling him to control his breathing. Batman then composes himself and finally explains what happened in Arkham. At this moment, a voice emerges from the shadows defending Batman. And this voice belongs to none other than Harley Quinn, the leader of the Red Hood gang. That's right, Absolute Harley Quinn is now official, and she has a new design that's different from what we're used to. You like it? Harley wants to know what Batman's plan is, and meanwhile in Arkham, Bane reaches the peak of this transformation. The scientists observing him reveal that his body has surpassed all human limits and that now he's a perfect abomination. Bane, however, believes he will soon be freed by his boss, who we know is the absolute Joker, since Batman is about to give in and become the new Bane. And notice this detail, up until now Bane hasn't hit 100%. Just imagine how the final battle of Absolute Batman versus Absolute Bane will be. It's promising to be even crazier than what we've seen in the latest issues. Dr. Arkham doubts that Bane will be freed, but the villain believes he will. After all, he gave everything he had. He states that Batman is about to give in and that his work will be complete, allowing him to go home. The conversation is interrupted when the technician grabs Arkham's attention. All the channels in Gotham have been hacked, and Batman to Image appears in every screen, phone, and billboard. In a badass manner, Batman wants to send a message to Bane and also alert the city about what's happening in Arkham. Batman addresses the people of Gotham, denouncing that the city is being destroyed by its leaders who sold the safety and freedom of the people for profit. He states that underground they're creating unimaginable monsters, and now he's going to expose one of them to everyone. Then, Batman challenges Bane to a duel in the Old Veterans Arena at midnight. If he loses, he will return to Arkham and completely surrender, but he warns that this won't happen. And before he ends the transmission, Batman says, "And just in case any of you are wondering who I am, I'm Batman." In the past, at a football stadium, Bruce talked to Waylon Jones. They're in the arena where Bruce set up the fight with Bane in the present, and young Wayne comments on his friend's plan to come out on top even while losing. But when Waylon finds out about this, he feels disappointed and betrayed. He fires Bruce, saying he chose him not because he was the best trainer, but because he was his friend, a person he trusted. Bruce tries to justify himself, but now it's too late. Waylon wants a fight to win.
Back to the present, Batman prepares for the final battle against Bane. Bruce's idea is to have a last man standing fight. Selina is worried, of course, but wants Bruce to promise he won't use the venom against Bane because that's what they want. Batman comments that when he used the venom before, he felt in control. He believes he can use it to beat the villain. The cat says there are other ways, but the bat refuses her help and cites Selina's own phrase about breaking the rules, making Catwoman admit that maybe she was wrong before. Bruce tells Selina it's easier for her to say, considering all the gear she has now, but Catwoman says Bruce has always been way better than this. He's going to use the venom to destroy Bane, and if she doesn't accept that, she should leave. Disappointed, the cat walks away, and that's when Alfred shows up. Seeing Batman's mental state, he pushes Bruce further into darkness. Alfred tells him this is the moment to abandon the man he was, bury the weak part, and be reborn as the monster needed to win. Next, we see that Bruce left raw meat in the sewers for his friend Killer Croc, and from the water, Croc soon emerges, watching all this, while Bruce heads alone to the arena, ready for the final battle against Bane. Part 6. The Final Battle. Batman reminisces about the past, the tragedies that befell him and his friends, all because of Bane. He's going over the plan to take down Bane with Alfred.
The Bat only has 2 doses left of the venom, the stuff that could help him face his foe. Batman intends to use 1 dose as a test and save the other for the actual fight. After Batman made his announcement to Gotham, Mayor Hill decided to address the citizens, emphasizing that the only threat in the city was the Batman himself, and that there wouldn't be a battle that night. When he wraps up his speech, the mayor asks Bullock to supervise the fight, which, yes, is still happening, and to keep everyone away from the stadium except for Batman and Bane. While Selina stares at Batman's mask, hoping he has a plan, Bane is chatting with Dr. Arkham about his strategy for the fight. He mentions that after this battle, he's going to need a long rest to help his system, claiming this would be his last fight, the one that would set him free to return to his homeland. Meanwhile, in the past, Croc is entering the arena for his match against Bibbo, while Bane waits in the Gotham arena for Batman. Harley Quinn is ready to go, just like Batman, who's waiting for his enemy. Alfred reviews the plan with Batman, and it's fight time. Harley's using drones with cameras so all of Gotham can witness the battle. In the past, Falcone, Bruce, and Selina watch as Bibbo takes on Croc. Back in the present, Batman launches his attack, which basically involves dropping a building on Bane, a move he calls Welcome to Gotham. At this moment, the story starts to shift between the past and the present. As Croc throws punches at Bibbo, Bane is using his venoming fusion, while Batman attacks with his Batmobile, injuring Bane. The vehicle takes it to Bane's back and slams into him. Batman keeps his offensive going. He might not have the same strength or speed, but he compensates with pure brutality, even going so far as to take out one of Bane's eyes. Pulling batarangs from his utility belt, he slashes away at Bane's monster's back, while the villain manages to regenerate his eye. However, Batman finds himself at a disadvantage when Bane grabs one of his cape's ends and throws him repeatedly against the ground. It's time to use a key weapon. Members of the Red Hood gang free Croc, who launches himself at Bane, sparking an epic monster battle. We see Bane getting attacked by Croc as the villain continues to inject more and more venom into his system, significantly increasing in size. Taking advantage of the moment, Batman tries to rip off his opponent's limbs, but gets thrown into the stands of the arena. In the past, Croc takes a solid punch from Bibbo. Falcone cheers while Bruce and Selina exit the scene.
It's time for Batman to get back into the fight. Bruce charges at Bane while we see Bruce running towards Wayland just as he's hit by Bibbo. Batman leaps onto Bane's back while he's opening Croc's mouth. We see Bruce from both the past and present going to help their friend. Batman tears into Bane's back as he thanks Croc for his help and tells him to go rest. Bane is injured with an open wound on his back and his spine is hit. Batman also wounds the villain's arm. He realizes that both he and Bane have experienced loss. They've both lost their parents. The difference is that Batman didn't break his own father's heart and back. At this moment, the villain goes wild. His system starts pumping more venom, growing even larger, and begins pummeling Batman. While Wayland suffers at the hands of Bibbo, Bane yells, asking if Batman thinks he can win, taunting the Bat. The villain would do anything to keep his people and home safe. This was war, but he was determined to end it. Batman must now transform and take the place of Bane. Back in the past, Bruce encourages Wayland to get up and not give in to Bibbo. Alfred urges Batman to use the venom. This is the moment. The Bat finally agrees. It's time for the venom. Suddenly, Selina appears with her weapon, firing several darts filled with the substance, hitting Bane's open back. Meanwhile, Wayland rises and hurls Bibbo to the ground. With the infusion of more venom, Bane surpasses the limits of the substance in his body as the Batman throws his axe at the villain. Bane explodes, venom spraying everywhere as Batman watches the giant monster crumble. From a distance, Alfred laughs, realizing how Batman pulled this off. At this moment, it's revealed how Batman had removed the venom and planted it in his back. 2 days earlier, Edward helped extract the venom from Batman's body, leaving Selina in charge of using it against Bane. Batman struggles to free himself from what remains of Bane's monster's body. Meanwhile, in the past, Bruce and Wayland celebrate their victory over Bibbo. Using the Batmobile, Batman dumps what's left of Bane's body into the sea, heading toward Arkham. Harvey watches the scene on TV while Selina carries a vial of venom as she leaves Gotham. Meanwhile, Bane is still alive, regenerating in a tank. His cells are incredible, but the Joker has a message for him. He needs to focus better on his activities. He knows Bane loves that war. Although Bane wants to retire and go to Santa Prisca to be with his family, it's clear that this is taking all his concentration. With what's left of his eyes, Bane watches Santa Prisca and his family being bombed. So there you have it, folks. We've reached the end of another saga in Absolute Batman, and by far, this has been the best arc so far. Abomination was intense and well crafted from start to finish. While previous issues showcased the cruelty Bane inflicted on Bruce's friends, leaving open the possibility of them turning into the villains we know so well, in this issue it seems like they're sticking by him. We saw Wayland help his friend in the final fight against Bane, while Edward helped Bruce remove the venom. Harvey and Oz are still in the hospital, leaving open the possibility for Harvey to continue his friendship with Bruce, or potentially become Two-Face in the future.
Plus, I can't emphasize enough how insane this issue was in terms of battles. It was truly brutal and epic. Bane pushed any limit and practically became a kaiju. The best part is that this doesn't faze Batman. He remains steadfast and determined to defeat his foe his way, accepting help from his allies instead of relying solely on the venom to fight the villain. It was genuinely impressive. I have to admit, I was surprised to see that Bane survived in the end, even if it was mostly just his brain, eyes, and spine. It's also clear how much pain the villain has endured being a subordinate of the Joker. Bane suffered in all of this and ultimately lost everything he loved most. This wraps up the saga in a tragic fashion following an epic battle, while simultaneously setting the stage for the next villain, which is the Joker. The Absolute Joker is finally making his debut in issue 15 and promises to be an even bigger challenge for Batman than Bane was. Can you imagine?
Absolute Batman is still going strong, bringing thrilling stories, and we'll keep covering everything for you.
So, to stay updated on what happens next in this story, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. Also, click the hype button to help this video gain traction on the platform. It's the best way for you to stay in the loop with everything going on in DC Comics. Thanks so much for watching this video, and if you're out of the loop on what's happened in past issues of Absolute Batman, check out this playlist popping up on your screen and get all caught up.